Welcome back to Ask Sloan, everybody.
Sponsored by Zentavos. Keep more of your money.
On this episode, I'm sitting here with my business partner, Jessenia Velazquez. You might know her from her podcast, A Cup of Jess. And now she's here today on Ask Sloan. How's it going?
It's going wonderful. I am happy to be here, especially that now I get to ask you a couple of questions. So are you ready?
Yeah, jump right in. Come on.
First of all, congratulations. I love the shirt.
Oh,
I am excited to be here because I feel that we've been MIA about speaking about Zentavos, right? I know tax season is here, and we get busy with all that good stuff with the working environment. All
don't
that
you just
good
love
stuff.
deadlines?
Yes. So I did want to ask you and start off with asking you, how has it been working with me, Jessenia Velazquez, as your business partner? You can be honest.
No,
Please
absolutely.
be honest.
No, we do. We got to be honest and authentic around here. I'll tell you, let's see. I'll go with the Appalachian Mountains. Okay. Not the Rockies, not the Himalayas, but the Appalachian, but which is to be expected, right? We've had our ups and our downs. I have to say that it is, I am super grateful to be your partner. It has been a journey, and I think that's important, actually. Okay. I've done a lot of divorces, business divorces in my time, right? A lot of business partners come together, they have all these dreams and visions, and then they get to it, and all of a sudden they don't respect each other. They think they're doing it all. And at the end of the day, it just falls apart. Right.
Right.
And what I'm super grateful for is that you've got my back. And when I need help, you're there to help me, and I've got your back. And when you need help, I'm there to help you. And it's been great.
No, I mean, that's what partnership is about. And with that being said, what is one thing that you feel is very important with a partnership? Like our partnership, also our clients, because we also help with partnerships in the maybe structuring the business, the bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes. What are 3 key things that you can share about partnerships?
Absolutely. The very first thing is to really understand roles and responsibilities. We discussed that early on, right? You handle sales, marketing, HR. I handle operations, strategy, finance, and that works symbiotically together, right? We also both share a little bit of the other stuff. You do a little bit of operations, you do a little bit of finance, I do a little bit of sales and marketing, right? So we're both in the game together, but we also have some clearly defined roles and responsibilities. The number one problem I see with business partners is you've got an operator and you have an administrator, and the administrator thinks they're doing all the work.
Correct.
And the operator thinks they're doing all the work. And of course, the sales guy thinks he's doing all the work. Right. Okay. And so when you don't have mutual respect and you don't understand what each other is bringing to the table and value that equally, then you have a disconnection. And that's when fights begin. Right. I've put in all this money. Well, I'm doing all this work. Well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Right. And so that's the first step, is really understanding roles and responsibilities. Right.
Correct.
The second step is defining what the future holds, like going towards the same goal, right? If we're going after a publicly traded company, we want to go ring the NASDAQ bell. We want to build a big company with lots of employees. That's our goal, right? We want to be an international organization. We're aligned in those ambitions. When you're not aligned in your ambitions, and one person is saying, man, $1 million is good enough for me, or 200,000 is good enough for me, well, then if you're misaligned, you're not going to be building the same thing. And at some point, again, it's going to fall apart, right? And then I think the third part is grace, not being so me, but looking at each other and serving each other, right? I believe in servant leadership. So do you. We do that with our team.
That's one of our values.
That's one of our core values, right? Servant leadership. So it's not me. It's us, and it's how can I help you be the best you can be, and you do the same for me. How can I help you be the best you can be? And when you do that, then you're much stronger together.
Right. And I know one of the questions I'm pretty sure the public has is that how do we handle our differences, right? And because like you've said before, it's not any no partnership is perfect. We don't agree on everything. And but I feel that we have built a trust, and also when there's differences, how we handle them. So what are your thoughts on that? How do we handle our differences?
I agree. Conflict resolution is a big deal, and we've had our moments, right? Okay, so step one is just to be honest with each other and talk about it, right? I don't think you're afraid to come to me and say, no, and
Hey, you do have a Latina as a business
hey,
partner, so I am gonna
you
speak
said
my
it.
mind.
Absolutely. And that's great, and
Yes.
and I don't feel afraid to do that as well. But even though we tell each other, hey, I don't think so, we've also allowed each other some space, right?
Correct. And I feel that you already know if something's wrong, and you're like, okay, do you need space, or do we need to talk about it? I might be a little mad, but at the end, it all works out. And that's something that it is important as in a partnership, especially the business that we are creating.
Well, absolutely. And with both of us being leaders, if I don't let you flush out an idea that you have, even if I don't think it's going to work, if I don't let you flush that out, then you're never going to learn from that. And the same thing with me. Like, I had a marketing strategy, and you were opposed to that marketing strategy. It's a little expensive, and maybe not the right platform. But I said, hey, we need to be consistent. Marketing is really more about consistency. So I wanted to flush it out, and I took several months to do that. In the end, it didn't work out, but we did get some good experience from that, right? And so when
Correct.
we've allowed each other to fail a little bit, it has made us stronger, because we haven't taken that personally. We haven't placed any blame. And like I said, like, you support me and I support you. So we come back together and say, okay, hey, that didn't work, right? And so what are we going to do next? How are we going to pivot? How are we going to make the next step? So I think A, we got to be able to be honest with each other. B, we gotta come together and strategize. And then C, we gotta give each other a little bit of grace.
Right. So moving a little bit from partnerships to our business, Zentavos. How do you feel, or what do you think? Obviously, I know, but I want our audience to know, where did you see Zentavos as a need for our community? And that means our community, business owners, small to medium size, the personal side, and all that good stuff.
So the problems that I've seen, throughout my career, being a fractional CFO, working, specifically in the small business space, is business owners are, generally speaking, operators or salespeople, right? They're either like, they're really good at a craft or a skill, or they're really good at selling a service, and that's where their focus is. They hate paperwork. They're not necessarily great with money, and so the initial problem is setting up your administration, right? Bookkeeping, accounting, tax, legal, insurance, all of those, like, office stuff, right? Okay,
Right.
and they'll end up like passing that off to somebody that's not very skilled in any of those things either, but they just don't really want to deal with it, right? And so the first step was in Tavos is really um, helping small business owners really understand their money, and whether or not they're cash flowing, making more than they're spending. And then the next steps is like being organized and being prepared for tax time, being prepared for audits, right? The IRS is like on fire these days, auditing people. And so you and I have experienced this firsthand. We get this big old mess. Like when I first started back in the early 2000s, like, people would just come and bring a box full of papers,
Right.
right? Well, that's not organized. And so it was my job to organize that box of papers and to figure out where everything is and what it all is. And then that's also not prepared for an audit, right? So being prepared, right?
Correct.
Like knowing your cash, and then being prepared. And and you brought this point, when we started developing the app to begin with, was like, hey, we should add a mileage tracker.
Yes, and even as the our colleagues, the tax professionals out there, in the beginning, I obviously you were my mentor, you're still my mentor, but in the beginning I would be like, okay, I'll take in the box full of receipts, but it doesn't really help us as professionals, because then we're stuck trying to get all the accounting in place, adding receipts, and that's technically, as a business owner, their job.
Well, absolutely. And if they don't do that, then they don't know their money, right?
Correct.
And like with the mileage tracker, I just asked a client yesterday, how many miles did you think that you drove? Oh, 1,500. Like exactly 1,500, not 1,536 or 28,000. I probably drove 28,000 miles, right? Like right on the money, right?
Right.
And that's just not realistic. And so if you get audited and they ask for your mileage log, where's your mileage log? Well, I don't have a mileage log, right? So that's the next step of Zentavos is continued organization, right?
Right.
And then Dropbox is great, and there are other apps out there that you can do this with, but they're not really tied into your whole system. But our idea is that you take pictures of your documents, and then our AI stores that for you in an organized fashion, and then that makes you ready and prepared for both taxes and an audit in the future.
Correct. So what makes Centavos different?
Man, good question, right? So Zentavos is AI for small business administration and finance, right? And what makes us different is we're 4 apps in one. We're a cash flow dashboard, mileage tracker, document capture and storage, and then AI to answer your business and finance questions, right? And so there's no other place that you can get all of those in one place, right? And we separate your business and your personal profile. A big problem with small business owners is all their money is commingled, right? It's super important to separate your business money from your personal money. It's the only way you're ever going to start achieving financial goals, right? And then we're going to build from there, right? We're going to build a full small business administration platform, fully automated financial services, so you can run your business from your phone without trying to find everything out there. Meanwhile, you're trying to sell and make payroll for Friday, but you've got this P&L you don't know how to read.
Right. How long have we've been working on this app already?
So we came up with the concept in 2001.
Okay.
We started developing the app last year, December of 24 is when we started developing.
And that's something that any startup can know as well, that it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. It does take time. It's a long time. It's not easy. It's hard, but that's why not everybody's doing it, right?
Absolutely. No, we really, we got our first quotes, okay, on development, and we fully expected to have a fully functional MVP in like 3 to 4 months. And here we are, we're about a year and a half later, and it's probably 90% there. We still got some additional development to do on the document storage and capture, and the AI has progressed quite a bit in the last year. So we're gonna make some enhancements to that. So with software, it's never done, number one, okay, but even like your expectations are gonna miss, like no matter what. And you gotta be prepared for that when you're developing anything, whether it's software, whether it's a team, whether it's additional services or products. You gotta find a time to get out there, get in the market, and get people around it. And then you gotta give yourself a little bit of grace and then just keep going.
Patience and being consistent every day. That's why I always say show up every day and we keep going, because you need to just every day row the same way. And I think that's something that we have also accomplished, that obviously there's always going to be different point of views, but you tell me, hey, this is where we're heading. Communication is key. And we keep going. So I also wanted to ask you, because I know a lot of my clients, friends, they're like, well, Jessenia, now that you guys are building Zentavos, how is it that you guys are, first of all, what is VC? You mentioned venture capital, and not a lot of people know about it. Are you able to talk?
Yeah, let's talk about capital raising a little bit, right? So we've raised several rounds in our business. We started out in the very beginning, friends and family, okay? The first people that are going to give you money are people that believe in you, okay?
Correct.
And yes, you got to have a good idea, but more importantly, people have to believe you can make that idea happen, okay? And the first people that are going to do that are your friends and your family. Okay. And look, it's like you need to be serious about it. It's no joke when you take other people's money, right? Like we care so much about our investors and times get tough,
Correct.
right? Things happen and you've got to stay in communication and you've got to make adjustments and you got to figure things out. The next stage is like angel investors. Okay.
Mhm.
And these are people that have had successful exits or have been successful in accumulating a little bit of wealth. And they're also entrepreneurs and they're very excited about the growth of those things. And so they'll come in and they'll put, 50 to 100 grand into a project and take a little piece and get you kind of to that next stage. Right.
Right.
Then after that, it's venture capital and or private equity. And they're two different business models. Venture capital firms are looking for like the next thing, something that's going to disrupt an industry, something that's going to change the game and has a very large audience, right? A lot of
Okay.
people want this. It's got a big market. Okay. So as an example, our market is 30 million small businesses in the US that have an average of 1 million annual sales and 10 employees. That's our total market, right? And then we've segmented down to the Hispanic business community, right? Which is 4.6 million small businesses in the US. And so you got to have a big market and you got to be changing the game. Okay. And so how are we changing the game? We're taking AI to the next level to develop a fully automated solution that solves problems that historical tech hasn't been able to solve, right? QuickBooks is really software for small business accounting firms, not really for small business owners. Very, very few small business owners actually use QuickBooks themselves. They end up hiring a bookkeeper or a team to make that happen and use that software. And that's another thing that makes us different.
Correct. And people need to know that QuickBooks doesn't do the job. They have to actually go in there and do all the transactions because I have clients that they're like, well, I've had QuickBooks last year everything should be in there. And then you go in there and nothing has been categorized.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Yes.
super funny. So, and the last one is private equity. So, private equity is really businesses that people that have exited. They've got a family office, like big
Mhm.
wealth, okay, or big firms, okay, and these corporate firms, what they do is they buy revenue, okay. So they're not really looking for the next best thing. They're not trying to get into a venture because a lot of ventures don't make it, okay. They're actually trying to buy revenue. They're trying to buy tried and true. Private equity right now is in a lot of service businesses. They do things like called roll-ups, okay,
Okay.
where they go out and they buy 5 plumbing companies and they roll them up into one plumbing company and then they make it more efficient. So they reduce administrative costs, they increase profit. And so they roll that up and then they resell that. Okay. So private equity is in the business of buying and selling companies.
Mhm.
Venture capital firms are in the business of funding a venture to get to IPO so that they can exit then. And then friends and family and angels, they're kind of along for the ride to get that exit and to get their value out at the
So we are at the angel seed round,
We're in a pre-seed round.
pre-seed round.
Okay, we're in a
Okay.
pre-seed round and we've raised 200,000 that pre-seed round for 2% of our company. We've got 100,000 to go. We've got several people that are interested and we're hoping to close that round soon. Our next round is a seed round.
The
Okay.
seed round.
So pre-seed is before before you have what you're building, right? So
Okay.
we've used our pre-seed capital to build the app. You can go to the store right now, Google Play or Apple App Store, okay, and download Zentavos and start using it today, okay? We're still in beta, so don't expect it to be the best thing since sliced bread, but come and join the revolution so that you can get as the features grow and grow. But that's what we did. We built the app, right? So now we have the app. The seed round is to make that app better, to increase its value in the marketplace, and to advertise and increase the growth of it, okay? And so as we build out our company, that's what the seed round is for, is like that next layer. And then you'd go to an A round. And an A round is really to increase market share. Now you've kind of established yourself in the market a little bit. You've got a good base clientele. And the A round is really to expand your services and your market even more and even more. And then you'll go to B and C, and then IPO is when you finally go public.
Perfect. Okay, well, Sloan, let's say that right now an investor is listening to Ask Sloan podcast
Yay.
and you are pitching Centavos.
Mhm.
What would you tell them?
Well, you always start off with the log line, right? It's AI for small business administration and finance, right? And then I go into the problems. You want to talk about the problem right away. If you're not really solving a problem, then investors aren't willing to listen, right? So small business finance is a problem, right? Small business owners have a hard time with money and understanding their financials and really getting to that cash flow position. That's why 90% fail in the first 5 years, right? And then the second problem is it's really expensive to do administrative tasks, and small business owners aren't designed for that. They're designed for sales and operations, right? And then the third problem that we solve is access to capital. Okay, so getting them to a position where they're ready for lending, insurance, all those different things, right? And so then we move into what is Zentavos. And Zentavos means peace with your money. Zen to be at peace, and centavos, pennies, money, change, right? And then we talk about what the solution is. Our MVP is a cash flow dashboard, mileage tracker, document capture and storage, and AI. And then the next things that we're going to build are invoicing and payments, accounting, tax. And then we're from there, when we get our ecosystem going, we're going to build marketplaces and be able to provide small business owners with all the financial tools that they need to continue to grow their business, right? And then we kind of pause there for a moment and we let the investors ask questions, and then we build a relationship.
Okay. And what do you think they would want to know about numbers?
Well, they want to know how many customers you currently have.
How many do we have?
Well, why don't you tell me, how many CFO clients do we have?
We have 77.
77. Wow.
The
Hey,
CFO
that's seven
clients.
more than I thought. So you've been crushing it. Just so y'all know, Jessenia's goal this year is 100 CFO clients. So we were at 70 a couple of weeks ago, probably a month ago, and looks like she's closed
So
on
if
a
you
few
guys
more
are
deals.
interested in becoming a CFO, that means that you get service as bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes on a monthly basis. If you're a business owner and this tax season was a mess, please contact us.
Absolutely. So they want to know how many customers you have. They want to know what your marketing strategies are. What is your go-to market strategy, right? You have a podcast. I have a podcast. We do a lot of speaking engagements and things like that. They also want to understand what your profit margins are. Like what are you selling your service at? What is your margin? How are you going to scale, right? We got asked that question like, hey, how are you going to scale your business, right? It seems to be labor intensive with a lot of humans. Well, now we've got AI agents. Okay. And so we're building a lot of AI. We're an AI first company. So we're building a lot of AI into our systems so that we can automate them as much as possible. And we can go from our team serving 30 to 40 clients to serving 300 to 500 clients, right?
Correct. That's awesome. I can't wait, honestly. I'm excited, and for many that might be listening as well, if venture capital feels like, hey, I just it's just overwhelming or something, so um just that you don't think you can do it, you can, because whenever I started my partnership with Sloan is you would tell me, yeah, we got to get ready for pitching and pitch decks and business plans, and you got to reach out to VCs. And literally, like, now for me is a natural thing. Like, even last night, I'm like hanging out with the VC, asking her questions about what is it that they are looking for, what companies they're investing in, what do they need, and getting that insight. And once you get into that world, it's just other doors open up and you're like, wow, there's so much money out there that all these companies are willing to invest in.
Well, I love what you just said, that you were asking the VC questions, right? You were talking to an angel investor, I guess, and you were asking her questions. You were saying,
Correct.
hey, what do you invest in? Do you have a fund that's open right now? Like, are you actively looking for investments, right? It's super important that when you're building relationships with potential investors, that you are asking them questions and getting to know them, because not all money is the right money for you.
Correct.
Okay. So it's very important to strategically align yourself with the right investors So like, it's just like a business partnership. If you're not aligned and you don't have the same goals and you don't understand roles and responsibilities, then the relationship is going to fracture, and that's going to really hurt your business, right? So you really need to align yourself strategically with the right investors as well as the right partners in order to succeed.
Yes, I even asked her that question of, there's a study out there that VCs are investing into female founders, especially at Latinas. There's like a 1 to maybe 3% chance. But speaking to these VCs, or whenever I was at South by Southwest in Austin last week, they made it seem like, excuse me, that it's okay, like there for me not to stop just because what is the statistics on it, right? On who is investing in it. So that's something that you shouldn't be getting discouraged.
Absolutely. Don't let anything hold you back. Okay. If you want it, go get it. It's out there.
Yes. So what would you recommend a young entrepreneur starting their business, start being a founder, right? That
Well, there's a lot of
like a
recommendations.
motivational side.
So I mean, the best advice you can ever get is never give up, right? How many times have you wanted to quit in the last 4 years? Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Like you're gonna want to quit. Okay. It's gonna feel like it's
Sweat,
not working.
tears,
Right? Blood.
I'm over here looking at you like mad, and you're like, "Whoa!" Like, no, but
No, it's gonna be hard.
funny. It's
Like
just funny right
yeah.
now, but there's times that I'm just like, I literally want to cry right now, and you're like, "Cry."
Yeah, get it out. Absolutely. No, and I do too. Like it's gonna be hard, right? It is.
Yes.
Never give up. Believe in yourself and make it happen. And then the other thing is like you really need to learn how all of these things work. It's the reason why it's so hard is because there's multiple divisions in a business. We've talked about it already here. Sales, operations, administration. So those are the top three. Okay.
And you can't do it all. That's the thing too.
If you want to grow and succeed, you cannot. You cannot do it all, right? You've got to get to a point where you can delegate and you can build a team. So don't let administration go aside. You really need to schedule time each week for all three. A little bit of sales, a little bit of operations, a little bit of administration. When you're first getting started, you got to sell. What's going to happen is you're going to sell all this, and then you got to go do it. And then you can't sell while you're doing it, right? Like, can you sell CFO packages while you're doing tax returns?
No.
Okay.
Nor being at like doing social media and stuff like that. Even though I just mentioned, if you guys need CFO services,
hey, she's
contact
getting
us.
good at this multitasking thing over here. That's for sure. And when do we do our accounting?
Once a month.
Oh,
or
do we?
should
No, we
do-
don't. She's lying. We do our accounting last. So the truth is you've got to get it done at some point, okay? And you need to schedule time, okay? So give yourself a little bit of grace. Never give up, but really learn and understand everything, okay?
Awesome.
Well, we're coming close to the end. You have any final questions or thoughts?
When do you want to retire?
Oh, I don't want to retire.
So you don't want to retire?
I don't want to retire. I may not work as insanely as I work right now, but I don't ever plan on retiring. I live to work as opposed to work to live, right? People who work to live, they do their 40 hours, they do their 50 hours or 60 hours, they make their money, and then they go to the lake house.
And you don't work on Saturdays?
I do not work on Saturdays. That's
Hey, that is a key point right there, because we were in the beginning disagreed on me working on Saturdays, which I do work on Saturdays. In the beginning, I'm like, hey, everybody's off on Saturday. They want to come in to do their taxes. And you're like, no, we're not going to work on Saturdays. So we've changed things up.
You did that on your own. I just told you I was never going to work on Saturdays.
And it was funny because in the beginning, I was like, no, I'm going to work on Saturdays. And then it worked. And you're like, now you're all burnt out.
It will happen. It'll totally happen.
So that's something that you do need to take care of. Another thing is, I know you've been taking care of your health. Please tell us a little bit about how important it is to take care of yourself first, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes. So final words of wisdom for the episode is you cannot pour from an empty cup. Okay. If you are not filling yourself up, if you're not taking the right breaks, if you're not having the right nutrition and exercise, like you will burn out and it will affect your business. So if you really want to be successful, it is super important that you take care of you, because you can't take care of others if you're no good. Okay. So when you listen to your body and take the breaks that you need to take, because you're going to be a lot more effective and efficient when you're at 110% than you are when you're at 80 or 70 or 60 or even 20%. I mean, I personally just went through a little moment, and I like took a week where like I did a whole lot of resting and not a whole lot of working. But I'm catching up this week and doubling down, and I have a whole lot more energy to make that happen.
And at Zentavos headquarters, we have massage schedule for the
Hey,
team today because
what?
we also take care of our team. That's crucial as CEOs and owners of
Well,
a
what am I
company.
doing here? I need to go get my
Well,
massage.
it's going to be after. So, well, Sloan, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
having
Jessenia.
me
Absolutely.
here. It's been exciting and it's different because now I'm asking you questions, and but it is questions that our public needs to know, especially as they're downloading Zentavos right now. I'm pretty sure. So
Yes.
let us know if you guys have any questions about the Zentavos app. Thank you, Sloan.
So don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Definitely download Zentavos. And we want to hear from you. Like, we're building Zentavos for you. So let us know what you love about it, what you don't like about it, and what you want us to build next. Have an
Thank
amazing
you.
day.
Ciao.
Sponsored by Zentavos. Keep more of your money.